Imam Abu Hanifa, better known as the greatest Imam or by his kunya Abu Hanifa, Numan ibn Thabit, was born in the city of Kufa, modern-day Iraq, in the year 80 after Hijrah. Born into a family of tradesmen, the Imam's family was of Persian origin, as well as descending from the noble Prophet's peace and blessings be upon him, companion Salman al-Farsi, may God be pleased with him. Imam Abu Hanifa's father, Thabit, had met in Kufa Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, may God be pleased with him, who made dua for him and his progeny, and some say that Abu Hanifa was a result of this dua. A hadith given by Al-Bukhari and Muslim states that Abu Huraira, may God be pleased with him, narrated Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, as saying, "If the religion were at the Pleiades, even then a person from Persia would have taken hold of it, or one among the Persian descent would surely have found it." Abu Huraira, may God be pleased with him, also narrates, "We were sitting in the company of Allah's Apostle, peace and blessings be upon him, when Suratul Jumu'ah was revealed to him. And when he recited amongst them, those who were sitting there said, 'Allah's Messenger.' But Allah's Apostle, peace and blessings be upon him, made no reply until he was questioned once, twice, or thrice, and there was amongst us Salman the Persian. Allah's Apostle, peace and blessings be upon him, placed his hand on Salman and then said, 'Even if faith were near the Pleiades, a man from amongst these would surely find it.'" Imam al-Suyuti, a Shafi scholar, may God have mercy on him, remarked, "It has been communicated unanimously that these hadiths refers to Imam Abu Hanifa." Kufa at the time of the Imam's birth was a great center of knowledge and learning, with many of the noble Prophet's companions having taken residence there. Due to the presence of these venerable people who had engendered so much interest in hadith and riwayah, that practically every house in Kufa had become a center of these disciples and their disciplines. His piety and devotion knew no bounds. Praying was a delight to him, and he used to engage in it with great gusto and sincerity, and he was famous for this. The Dhahabi writes, "Accounts of his piety and devotion have reached a degree of tawatur, i.e., an unbroken chain of uncontradicted narrations. While saying his prayers or reading the Quran, he would be so overcome with feeling that he would start weeping and go on doing so for hours." Ibrahim Basri relates that one morning, while he was saying his prayers together with the Imam, the latter recited the ayah, "I do not think that God is forgetful of the conduct of the iniquitous," and in reciting it wept so much that his whole body shook with sobs. Zaida relates that having an important question to consult the Imam about, he joined the night prayers with him and waited for him to finish his additional sunnah prayers. But the Imam, when in reciting from the Quran, he reads the ayah, "Save us from the torture of hell's hot wind," went on repeating it until the morning. On another occasion, he spent the whole night repeating the ayah, "Judgment Day is sinners' promised hour, and it is a difficult and unpleasant hour," and weeping while he repeated it. Yazid, the son of Kumayt, a contemporary of the Imam and famous for his piety, relates that he joined the Imam in the night prayer, during which the Imam, leading the prayers, recited the ayah, "Iza zulzilat." After the other people had departed, he found the Imam still sitting and heaving deep sighs. Yazid did not want to disturb the Imam, so he also went away, leaving the Imam sitting. When he went to the mosque on the following morning, he found the Imam sitting, looking very sad, holding his beard in his hands and saying tearfully, "O thou who will reward even the smallest virtue and punish even the smallest sin, save thy slave Numan from hellfire." One day, while walking in the street, the Imam inadvertently stepped on a small boy's foot. The boy cried, "You don't seem to fear God." On hearing these words, the Imam fainted. Musir, the son of Qudam, who was with him, stopped him from falling and attended to him. As soon as he came to, Musir said, "Why were you so perturbed by a small boy's casual remark?" The Imam replied, "Who knows, this was not an admonition from the unknown." Now, my dear, let me share with you one more story that happened with the great Imam and the atheist. Long ago, in the city of Baghdad, there was a Muslim empire. On one side of the river Tigris were the royal palaces, and on the other side was the city. The Muslims were gathered in the royal palace when an atheist approached them. He said to them, "I don't believe in God. There cannot be a God. You cannot hear him or see him. You are wasting your time. Bring me your best debater and I will debate this issue with him." The best debater at the time was Imam Abu Hanifa, may God have mercy on him. A messenger from amongst the Muslims was sent over the river Tigris to the city where Abu Hanifa was, in order to tell him about the atheist who was waiting for him. On crossing the river Tigris, the messenger conveyed the message to Abu Hanifa, saying, "O Abu Hanifa, an atheist is waiting for you to debate you. Please come." Abu Hanifa, may God have mercy on him, told the messenger that he would be on his way. The messenger went over the river Tigris once again and to the royal palaces, where everyone, including the atheist, awaited the arrival of Abu Hanifa. It was sunset at the time and 1 hour had passed, but Abu Hanifa still hadn't arrived. Another hour had passed, but still there was no sign of him. The Muslims started to become tense and worried about his late arrival. They did not want the atheist to think that they were too scared to debate him, yet they did not want to take up the challenge themselves, as Abu Hanifa was the best of debaters from among the Muslims. Another hour passed, and suddenly the atheist started laughing and said, "Your best debater is too scared. He knows he's wrong. He is too frightened to come and debate with me. I guarantee he will not turn up today." The Muslims increased in apprehension, and eventually it had passed midnight, and the atheist had a smile on his face. The clock ticked on, and finally Abu Hanifa had arrived. The Muslims inquired about his lateness and remarked, "O Abu Hanifa, a messenger sent for you hours ago, and you arrived now. Explain your lateness to us." Abu Hanifa, may God have mercy on him, apologizes for his lateness and begins to explain, while the atheist listens to his story. "Once the messenger delivered the message to me, I began to take my way to the river Tigris, and on reaching the river bank, I realized there was no boat in order to cross the river. It was getting dark, and I looked around. There was no boat anywhere, nor was there a navigator or a sailor in order for me to cross the river to get to the royal palaces. I continued to look around for a boat, as I did not want the atheist to think I was running away and did not want to debate with him. I was standing on the riverbank looking for a navigator or a boat when something caught my attention in the middle of the river. I looked forward, and to my amazement, I saw planks of wood rising to the surface from the seabed. I was shocked, amazed. I couldn't believe what I saw. Ready-made planks of wood were rising up to the surface and joining together. They were all the same width and length I was astounded at what I saw. I continued to look into the middle of the river, and then I saw nails coming up from the sea floor. They positioned themselves onto the boat and held the planks together, without them being banged. I stood in amazement and thought to myself, "Oh Allah, how can this happen? Planks of wood rising to the surface by itself, and then nails positioning themselves onto the boat without being banged." I could not understand what was happening before my eyes. The atheist, meanwhile, was listening with a smile on his face. Abu Hanifa, may God have mercy on him, continued, "I was still standing on the river bank, watching these planks of wood joined together with nails. I could see water seeping through the gaps in the wood, and suddenly I saw a sealant appear from the river, and it began sealing the gaps without someone having poured it. Again I thought, Ya Allah, how is this possible? How can sealant appear and seal the gaps without someone having poured it? And nails appear without someone having banged them? I looked closer and I could see a boat forming before my eyes. I stood in amazement and was filled with shock. All of a sudden a sail appeared, and I thought to myself, how is this happening? A boat has appeared before my eyes by itself. Planks of wood, nails, sealant, and now a sail. But how can I use this boat in order to cross the river to the royal palaces? I stood staring in wonderment, and suddenly the boat began to move. It came towards me against the current. It stood floating beside me while I was on the river bank, as if telling me to embark onto it. I went on the boat, and yet again it began to move. There was no navigator or sailor on the boat, and the boat began to travel toward the direction of the royal palaces without anyone having programmed it as to where to go. I could not understand what was happening and how this boat had formed and was taking me to my destination against the flow of water. The boat eventually reached the other side of the river Tigris, and I disembarked. I turned around and the boat had disappeared, and that is why I'm late. At this moment, the atheist burst out laughing and remarked, "Oh Abu Hanifa, I heard that you were the best debater from amongst the Muslims. I heard that you were the wisest, the most knowledgeable from amongst your people. From seeing you today, I can say that you show none of these qualities. You speak of a boat appearing from nowhere, without someone having built it, nails positioning themselves without someone having banged them, sealant being poured without someone having poured it, and the boat taking you to your destination without a navigator against the tide. Your talking is childish. Your talking is ridiculous. I swear I do not believe a word of it." Abu Hanifa, may God have mercy on him, turned to the atheist and replied, "You don't believe a word of it? You don't believe that nails can appear by themselves? You don't believe sealant can be poured by itself? You don't believe that a boat can move without a navigator? Hence, you don't believe that a boat can appear without a boat maker?" The atheist remarked defiantly, "Yes, I don't believe a word of it." Abu Hanifa, may God have mercy on him, replied, "If you cannot believe that a boat came into being without a boat maker, then this is only a boat. How can you believe that the whole world, the universe, the stars, the oceans, and the planets came into being without a creator?" The atheist, astonished at this reply, got up and fled.